So if you're offering your gift at the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, or you have something against your brother or sister, leave your gift there before the altar and first be reconciled to your brothers and sisters. And then come and offer your gift to me. Today's talk is called First, Be Reconciled. Be reconciled. We're in this season of the holy month of awakening to the resurrection of the Christ consciousness within us. We're allowing the mana, the kundal, the kundalini, the chi, the prana, the Holy Spirit to be lifted up in us so we can be resurrected. And we're willing to do whatever we have to do to allow that to happen, are we not? Yes. We are. We're willing to look at all those things that keep us from allowing this lifting up, this resurrected consciousness to happen within us. Jesus is giving us a blueprint with this. He says, if when you go to the altar, now where is the altar? Where? It's inside of you. You come here and it's physically here, but the truth is where it is inside of you. The temple of the living God, the template of the living God lives inside of you. So when you go to pray to the altar, to your own inner altar, and you find that you have any anger towards a brother or sister, be reconciled. Go and make whatever amends you can with that energy, because there's nothing going on outside of you. I want to take that deeper. It's not just about physical brothers and sisters. It's about everything in the universe that you're in relationship to. The birds, the trees, the environment, the car, everything is in a relationship. Your whole life you are in relationship to everything. To be reconciled is to be reconciled not only with your brothers and sisters, the things that you can see, but the things that you can't see that go on inside of you. Reconciliation is so important. And we do this whenever we clear away the clutter that keeps us from being awake and present in this moment. Knowing that everything and everyone can become our teacher and our teaching. There's a story about a Zen master whose name is Rinzai. And he is in the meditation hall with his students. And they're sitting and they're meditating and they're very quiet and still together, following their breath in and out, in and out. And all of a sudden, a student comes in the entranceway and doesn't think that anyone can see what he's doing. You know how you think you're getting away with something? You're not. God sees it all, my friends. He's the one, this is everywhere. You're getting away with nothing, okay? And he comes in the door to the temple, and he comes in and he takes the door and slams the door and takes off his shoes and throws them on the floor. And then he comes in with the big smiling metaphysical look on his face. And the master says, don't you come in here with that energy. Don't you dare come in here with that energy. Before you come in here, I want you to go back to that doorway and I want you to ask for forgiveness. I want you to be in reconciliation with the doorway and your shoes. And of course the guy goes, you monks, you're completely insane. It's an inanimate object. What difference does it make? And he said, well, you have no problem being angry at a door and your shoes. Why not be loving instead? And he starts to walk away, as many of us would, at the ridiculousness of how deep he had to go. And as he's walking out the doorway, and the monks are all sitting quietly, waiting for this incredible moment to happen, an opening happens in him. And he realizes that this moment is every moment. He's been slamming doors all his life. He's been throwing things around his whole life, driving unconsciously, not aware of the food that you're eating when you're eating it, just completely unconscious. We all know about this. And in that moment, he gets it. And literally, he walks over to the doorway. And the door that he slammed, he starts to cry when he realizes how unconscious he has been. And then he takes his shoes, the shoes that he's thrown around, and he bends down and he picks them up and he touches them. They are the holy partakas. These are the feet of the divine. And then he puts his shoes on. And now he's ready to walk into the altar. Do you feel that? How subtle that is. How subtle these teachings are when we get how connected everything is. To be reconciled with the present moment is the most important teaching you and I can embrace on this day. And all it requires is our willingness to stay present in this moment. Because this is the moment that we get. I was real excited about the class that we would be having on Wednesday night with the 26 people who are doing the 10-week Mary Morrissey Prosperity Program, because the teacher was going to be Mary's son. And I knew that he would give a great teaching, but when he'd first come up on the DVD, people would be like, oh, Mary's not there, and they would all be disappointed. I actually spoke at Mary Morrissey's church at the Living Enrichment Center, and I remember when I came out on the stage, 1,000 people, and they all went, oh my God, this is not Mary Morrissey. Who is, you understand? So that disappointment, but I knew that he was going to deliver this amazing message because I'd seen it 4 times before, and I couldn't wait to give everybody the gift of his energy. He's 30 years younger, he's vibrant, he's filled with juice and energy, and he's every bit as good as Mary is. And usually before class, I ask, well, what kind of quote can I have up just to begin the class? And you never know what God's going to choose for you, yes? The exact thing you need to learn. It was this quote: every moment in life is absolute in itself. That's all there is. Nothing other than the present moment. There is no past. There is no future. There is nothing but this. So when we don't pay attention to this, we miss the whole thing. You pay attention to this moment. And when you do, the whole thing opens up to you. Happens when? Right here and right now. Because where you are, God is. It's in the present moment. Come back to it again. And so we get all ready to show the DVD. And Maureen's back there with the button, and it comes on, the sound, but there's no projector and screen. There's no visual. There's only the sound coming through the DVD. So in that moment, I run to my office and I get the cell phone and I call Annette, and Maureen's trying to figure it out, and Bruce is there, he's trying to figure it out, and there's nothing to figure out. It's just not going to work. The things we've done before aren't working. And then my mind, I'm starting to slam doors and throw shoes. I'm so tired of this old 70s equipment at this church. Half the time it doesn't work. It's just at that moment when you want it to be perfect, and this guy's so visual, I don't want to miss all the things that have been. And I'm noticing I'm the only one who's not happy with the moment. Have you ever noticed that? There are 27 other people who are laughing at all the right moments. They could care less that there's no visual. But me, I'm imagining what it should look like, and they don't care. They're enjoying the words and the teachings. So I walked off and splashed water on my face and went, please, this is embarrassing. Pay attention. Pay attention to this moment. And the whole thing will open up to you, because we do everything publicly. It's important to do that. So I came back in the room, I tried the button a few more times, it didn't work, and I sat down with my beloved Maureen, who's already in bliss, and listening. And I truthfully, I have to tell you, I almost got more out of it not having any visual, and just listening to what was being said. Listening deeply to the teaching. Go back and be reconciled with the doorway. The door you just slammed. Go back and touch the shoes. Be present. Go back and give thanks to the DVD player that didn't work again. Yay, God! What a gift. What a blessing comes when we take this moment, because this is all we get, and open ourselves up to all that is. This is it. Nothing happens next. Your entranceway into the glory of these teachings is not going to be in some future date. It isn't going to happen in the past. The only time it ever happens is now. This is the primordial moment of your awakening. It's happening in this present moment. Right here, where you are. This is where it all happens. Here is where the juice is. At the end of the class, Bruce came up to me and he said, you know, I learned something more about this material from your reaction than I did from anything that was being spoken through the DVD. He was back there with me and he said, I could really sense your complete and utter frustration that it wasn't working, and I knew what they were missing because I took the class before and I wanted to see those things as well too. And I watched how you approached that frustration and agitation and released it. I said, well, you know, it took about a half hour. Steam was coming out of my ears for a lot of it. But I let it go, and I realized the problem wasn't with the projector. The problem was with my projections. The problem wasn't with the outer projector. The situation was with what I was projecting onto this moment. It was filled with expectation of what should have been, not what was happening. Anybody relate to that? Yes, the problem isn't the projector, it's with the projections. And we always have a power in us to choose what we want to shine our light on. And it will become real and true for us. We often learn more from the things that don't work than from the things that do. They become, in that moment, our greatest gift and teacher, the present moment. There's a man at the gym who's in a wheelchair and he doesn't have movement from his waist down. And he is one of the most joyous, happy, connected people I know at the gym. And he often asks me to help him get set up to do some of the machinery because he needs to be sort of, his body needs to be put forward, and you put a towel on the back, and then he does his workout. He always has a good word and smile and eye contact for all the people at the gym. He's just a great guy. On the back of his wheelchair, it says, "It is what it is." It is what it is. This is just what it is. And I'm going to enjoy every single moment of it. I'm not going to miss my life. This is what it is. Here I am, right now in this moment. This is what I get. This is it. It's right here and it's right now. It doesn't happen next and after. It's the life you're living now. Enter into it when? Now. This is it. And then when you're in the moment, then you get to be aware of where your reconciliation needs to be. And it's always with something that's going on in your mind. Mindfulness, it says in the lesson summation, we don't need it up yet, is not about eliminating certain kinds of thoughts and replacing them with better, more positive ones. It's more about being aware of what you're thinking when you're thinking it. And catching yourself before you get on the train to nowhere. You understand? Half hour before the class, I was the happiest guy in the world. A projector doesn't work, and my thoughts are starting to accumulate into a massive train wreck. You catch it. Just look at it. Be aware of the thoughts. And then you can choose other thoughts. That's the beauty of the teaching. If you're having feelings, oh, this machinery, it's driving me crazy. Something else will drive me crazy this week too. It's just life. Feelings. I'm more than just these feelings. You become aware of the feelings. Then you can have other feelings. And when you clear the altar of all of that clutter, what happens is an amazing blessing. Because when the altar is clear, God can shine through. You hear that? What is already present, the whole thing reveals itself to you. And it can happen in an instant. You can switch your consciousness like that. And you're going to have to keep, I have to keep doing that over and over and over and over again. And some days it's easy, and some days it's just downright hard because the circumstances just seem overwhelming. I want them to go away. But it is what it is. And I am who I am. That's the presence of the moment that we enter into. It's amazing. On one day this week, during one of the days when it was actually too cold to ride the motorcycle, but I was But I just had to ride it. And Maureen goes, "You're going to be freezing on that bike." You know, it was like 47, 8. It was supposed to maybe get to 50. And it wasn't just that, it was windy out too. But I wanted to get on the bike, so I put everything on that I could possibly wear. And I get on the bike. And my cold place is my hands. My feet don't get cold, my head doesn't get cold, my hands do. And by the time I got to the gym, I was already frozen at the level of my hands. It's not a very long ride, but I was frozen. So I'm kind of getting off and rubbing my hands and going, "Maureen was right again." What else is new? And then I'm watching this woman with an infant and her little 4- and 5-year-old child in front, sort of walking. And the mother was scolding the infant for the child for something that she was doing or not doing. And you could just see the little girl go, "Whatever, Mom." And the mom's with the baby, and you know, the complete overwhelmed life that many of you who have children know about, and we used to be that way as well too. And all of a sudden the doors start to open and close at the gym. If you know the why, they open automatically. And there's music coming out. It's from the Zumba class. The little girl starts to go, "I love Zumba. I love the Zumba. I love the Zumba. Zumba, Zumba, Zumba. I love to Zumba, Zumba. I love to Zumba. Zumba, Zumba, Zumba." And the mother, who was scolding a moment ago, goes, "I love to Zumba." And the baby's going, "Down, down. I love to Zumba, Zumba. I love Zumba, Zumba." And then I'm up off my bike, and my hands aren't cold anymore, and I love to Zumba. Zumba, Zumba, Zumba. We're all walking to the Y, and we're in a totally different place. It was a moment of instant reconciliation with the presence. Where were we moments before that? Lost in cold, scold, something going on. And then all of a sudden, "I love to Zumba. A Zumba, Zumba, Zumba." You hear me now? And that's every day of your life. Let's go to the lesson for a moment. I know you're going to practice this week, I just know it. If you're offering your gift at the altar, and you remember that there's some part of your energy field that you're not at peace or reconciled with, something you're holding, something against somebody. Because the truth is, you're only quarreling with yourself. There's no quarrel going on with anybody but you and God. In that moment, you're making a god of this and you're quarreling with it. I grew up with a household of people who spent their lifetime quarreling. So I have a master's degree in falling back on that again. Go and be reconciled. The next one, please. Every moment, and I love this, every moment in life is absolute in itself. That's all there is. Nothing other than this present moment. There's no past, there's no future, there is nothing but this. So when we don't pay attention to each little this, we're gonna miss the whole thing. And you don't want to, do you? Miss the whole thing. Be aware, be awake, be changed, and taste the goodness of it. Because, my friends, the world is waiting for you to leave here and start a line dance. In whatever way you can, I want you to walk out this door and start practicing. Zumba, Zumba, Zumba. I love Zumba. I love my wife. I love this strife. I love my arm needs to be healed. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. They're cutting back all this money. The economy is about to tank again. I love the economy. I love the economy. It's mine. It's the economy of love. No more fear for me. It's waiting for you, my friend, to start the dance of life and start living it every single day. And others will join you as we play in the dance of awakening to the resurrection of the Christ within us. That is why we are here. And it happens in this moment. And the whole thing in that moment will say yes to you. Namaste. Namaste.